And that's what makes it so much more draining and exhausting. Because to be honest, I've never really liked talking with anime fans that much. It's not something I ever really did a whole lot. Like I'd watch like YouTubers discuss my favorite series and stuff, but like when it came to like actually discussing your favorite series with other fans like on the internet, that shit has kind of always been ass. I really just don't like most anime fans in general. Like I've never really had that many friends who were big anime fans, because I think most anime fans are actually fucking losers. That's neither here nor there. The point is, I think it's only gotten worse. Like the actual act of like enjoying anime and manga is still the same. Like you don't have to engage with the fandom, but that's the part that sucks, is that when you do like something a lot, you want to talk about it with people. You know what I'm saying? Typically, not always, but sometimes. Every once in a while you'll come across something where it's like, this is so special to me personally, I don't want to talk about it with anyone. This is just for me. This feels like it was crafted specifically for my soul and my own entertainment. This is like my life story. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while you come across something that's like, this is just mine. But certain shit, it's like, most of the time with other shit, if you really like something, you kind of want to go talk about it with other people and see what other people's thoughts and opinions are, how they feel about something that you really liked or something that you didn't like. And you just can't have honest conversations anymore. And again, can't stress this enough, you've always had people who were just being dickheads, right? But it's so much worse now. You cannot have an open-minded, honest, genuine conversation about literally anything anymore, especially anime and manga, because they're the most passionate, ignorant fucking group of Neanderthals on the goddamn internet. And it's continuing to get worse. Anime fans uniting to slander Mr. Beast has been hilarious, at least. I don't know anything about that. Also, I agree. Rage baiting, the whole idea and concept of rage bait is incredibly fucking stupid. And yeah, I'm with you, Dimitri. It's like, if you want to talk about anything at all, it has to be your immediate friend group, and that's pretty much it. Like, you can't discuss anything with strangers, bro. It is actually significantly more uncommon to have like a nice conversation with a stranger than it is to have like an argument or a debate or something. Everything is a take. Everything is like, I'm right, you're wrong. No, actually, but you know, it's like, it's so exhausting. There's so many things I be want to talk about, but if it's like, if I can't talk about it with like Afro or Omega or, you know what I'm saying, I just don't talk about it at all. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's not squad, I feel like I can't talk about most things, because it's just too draining to try to speak about it like in public. Anime talks becoming less icebreaker and more about I'm comfortable with you now so I can talk about it with you is something I thought I would never see. People online nowadays want to flex superiority and their opinions taste more than anything. Yeah, and like elitists like that have always been a thing, but I just feel like it's only gotten worse with time. Yeah, it's really a shame. Like it feels like it's nearly impossible to have like any meaningful conversation. And like the thing is as well is like, we can disagree. I actually think those types of conversations are very fun. Like me having a conversation with like a One Piece fan about why I think Naruto is a better series. Again, just using this as an example. I'm not here to like, oh, Naruto sounds better than One Piece. Again, just the first two series that came to mind as an example. I think like having a Naruto fan, like me being a Naruto fan and discussing like comparing and contrasting One Piece and why I like this series more and I think it's better, and you like this series more, you think it's better, and like comparing Luffy's characters like Naruto's character, and then talking about the world building in this series and that series and how they both like don't necessarily handle female characters the best, except within One Piece you've got like Robin, who's actually a strong lead, and then you have like the underutilization of characters like Sakura and Naruto. Like I think those types of conversations could be really fun. I actually think that type of thing is really fun and interesting, but you can't do that anymore, because even if you do like start to have a conversation with somebody, it's like, oh shit, like we're actually having a real conversation. If you're doing it on the internet, inevitably you're gonna have all these other people get involved, and it just devolves into nonsense. And then don't even get me started about the bots. Like it feels like Twitter is more bots than real people, and then half the real people act like bots anyway. So it feels like Twitter's like 90% bots now. All it takes is your conversation to get quoted by one bad person and suddenly thousands of people are on your head. Yeah, been there, also have done that. So either way. And then to make matters worse, like you can be having a conversation that like has an objectively correct answer, but then a dumb nigga with a following will say some shit and be wrong, but people are agreeing, and it's like, oh come on, dog. Like he's not right. You're all just fucking stupid. Like where do you think Ja will go? I don't know. I think him and like there's a few places I think he could go that could be interesting, but where he'll actually go, I feel like he most likely just ends up staying in Memphis, but we'll see.
Nothing amazing happens here. Everything is ordinary.
Yo, Nautical, thank you for the 2 years, homie. I greatly appreciate it. I think that's fair, but like I said, you have to try and find these smaller communities. Shit been getting worse for years, so I've been making more of an effort. Why platforms like Twitter/YouTube comments are often the worst way, in my opinion. But what do you even mean by like smaller communities? Like, where are you going these days to like congregate with people if it's not like a common platform like a Twitter or a YouTube or Twitch or like Reddit, which obviously I don't even go to Reddit, but just like lesser known social media, or like, you know what I'm saying? How are you? It was good, Gohan. A genuine conversation online, what's the point? It don't happen. Eat some banana bread to cheer up. If I had some, I would. Ja leaving would piss me off, dog. We're literally skyrocketed Memphis attendance and had us in the city hyped. I think John Morant is the biggest thing in Memphis since Elvis Presley. Like, I don't think the Grizzlies as a basketball team, I don't think Memphis as a city or Tennessee as a state has had anything as big as John Morant since Elvis, let alone the Grizzlies having like a bigger superstar. So like, I get it. I'm sure he's still extremely popular there. I think most fans probably still want him around, but I completely understand the Grizzlies wanting to move on from him because, well, it hasn't been great since 2022. Outside, ugh. You know, when I do go outside, I actually realize that it might actually be worse than being online. Sometimes I'll be out in public and like I'll just hear people saying shit. I'm just like, man. Because I don't get out much, sometimes I forget what it's like being around the general public. And the opinions they have on certain things are like vastly different from what seems to be like the popular opinion or like what we consider to be normal or the right mindset with a lot of shit. Like the way like normie niggas view things like AI or sports or just some of the conversations that they have. I'm just like, I'd rather just be sitting at home by myself. I'm not gonna lie. And like, especially if we're talking about like anime and manga, I mean this in the least corny way possible. I don't know how else to phrase this, okay? I'm not trying to be no elitist. I'm not trying to be like, I'm just too cool for you. You know what I'm saying? I think most of y'all get where I'm coming from, but like,
everything is ordinary.
When I get around anime and manga fans in real life, I get the fucking ick. Like, I ain't never once been in like the manga section of like a Books a Million or a Barnes and Noble and thought, that's a cool guy. That's somebody I actually want to have a conversation with. Like, when you see them and hear them and how they talking and how they carry themselves and like everything like that, I'd be like, this the same nigga that's into the shit I'm in? Like, for real? Like, for real? Really? Like, we have the same common interests. Cause like, I feel like I'm so vastly different from the niggas who consume a lot of the shit that I do. And it's like, it don't matter like what field I go into, right? When I be in my sports bag, cause y'all know how much I love basketball. I love basketball and I love talk about basketball. But then I get around certain niggas, it's like, it's a bunch of homophobes and just niggas with agendas. And it's a lot of ignorance there. And it's like, niggas want to have conversations about Braun versus MJ and they be 21 years old. It's like, nigga, you don't know anything in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, yeah, I get around anime and manga fans. It's like, this nigga's a fucking social outcast who's been a loser their entire life, clearly. Right. And then I don't know, man. And then like with sneakers and shit, it's like my tastes and opinions be so, and niggas be so caught up like the hype and the resale and the trends. It's like, I feel like I never really fit in anywhere with any of the interests I have in life. It's just, I never really find like a lot of common ground with niggas, and then let alone finding somebody that has all the same interests as me, which is just not realistic. Right. But like, whenever I try to like get around niggas who have like similar interests to me, I never feel like I relate to them. I always feel like they're so drastically different from who I am. It's like we somehow have an interest in this same thing and we are nothing alike at all whatsoever outside of that singular common interest. Also, Misty, thank you for the 9 months. I greatly appreciate it. I'm also just getting old. Like, that's just part of life. And so a lot of times, like, I'll just be around like younger niggas or whatever, not like hanging out with them, but like when I be in public or whatever, and I just, let's say I'm at a game or I'm in like I said, the manga section of a bookstore or whatever. It's like, you're gonna typically come across like younger people, like, you know what I'm saying? And I just, it's just not the same wavelength, man. And yeah, even just the way that some of these people like consume media is so different, where it feels like they're not actually engaged or focused in what it is. They are looking specifically for things to pull out for their narratives or their agendas, or they're consuming it merely for the sake of having an opinion, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing entirely, because I've done that before as well, where like I listened to this album or I watched this movie or this show just because I wanted to be a part of the conversation, not necessarily trying to have a negative opinion of it necessarily, but you know, I was just wanted to be able to participate, right? I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like, people listen to an album or watch this movie or play this game and then don't know anything at all about it, or they didn't understand it at all. And that gets into a whole conversation about media literacy. But I feel like media literacy is also at an all-time low, which just makes it that much more frustrating and annoying and exhausting, where it's like, half you motherfuckers aren't even actually playing the game or listening to the song or watching the movie, and then half of you that are didn't understand a fucking thing you just witnessed. And again, I ain't no fucking, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm the smartest nigga in the world, but damn. I don't know how to explain it, but it always feels like you're around the worst of whatever media you enjoy. Bro, like, right? Like, I feel that way all the time. And it's one of those things where, like, because I feel like I'm always like that, it's like, is it me? Like, am I the problem? Like, clearly, like, if everywhere you go, it smells like shit, like, hey, nigga, maybe you're the one that needs a shower. But it's like, it always feels like you're surrounded by the absolute worst of whatever, like, thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, bro, how the fuck? Where the real niggas at, man? There's a difference between being part of a conversation and having the comprehension to participate in said conversation. Yeah. I'll over hear people talking about like Street Fighter or some shit, but then when you get to know them, they're weird as shit. Yeah. Yeah. But it is like this really strange phenomenon that I don't really know how to explain either, where it feels like you're just always surrounded by the worst that the community of whatever interest you are into has to offer. always stray away from communities because it's always showing the worst of people sometimes. Rarely do I find people that are actually cool with the same taste I have. Yeah, same. And yeah, like obviously on the internet, the loud minority always stands out more than the quiet majority, but it's hard to find the ones that are worth engaging with or communicating with. And to be honest, sometimes when I think I do come across a person or a group, I'm like, oh, they seem kind of cool. Like I could see myself maybe trying to, you know, fuck with them, you know. Motherfuckers don't, they either turn out to not be maybe what you thought, or in some instances, the way you feel about other people, they may feel about you, or they just aren't interested necessarily in being friends, which does also happen. I've had people who like I've encountered and I'm like, I fuck with this person, like we could be cool, and they don't really seem to be on the same wavelength, which I can't be mad at, and I don't blame anybody because I'm like that with so many other people. So how, you know what I'm saying, like what type of hypocrisy would it be like if I was ever like be offended by that or like take like personal offense to it? It's just like, oh well, because it might not even, you might not have done anything that a person likewise. Like it's a lot of people that I don't like, don't fuck with, don't want to be around, don't want to talk to, don't want to be friends with, not because they did anything to me or said anything. It's just like, I'm just not trying to be your friend, homie. Like you just not, like, I just don't feel the energy, like the wavelength. Like it's just, we just not on the same shit, and it be like that sometimes. I think that's another thing too, is that there are some people out there that think, oh, because we have this common interest, I see no reason as to why we can't be friends. And I don't think it's that simple. Or even just like with being a streamer, right? Like, I ain't gonna say no names, but it'll be something like, oh, Lotus, bro, you ever thought about like streaming with so-and-so? You ever thought about doing a video with so-and-so? And like, I'll just ignore it, or I'll be like, nah, not really, or like, I don't really know him like that. But in the back of my mind, I'd be like, actually, I think that nigga's a complete and total fucking loser that I would never give the time of day. But I'm not gonna say that. But it'd be like, you know, it's like, actually, I think that nigga's a fucking idiot. But nah, bro, I ain't really, I don't even know bro like that, bro. LTG collab soon. Kill your thirst with Mellow Yellow. Yeah, that's one of the things I don't like about, and there's many things, that's one of the things I don't like about streaming and YouTube and shit, is the politics behind it, where when you're in this, you kind of realize how many people who also do this are actually like really shitty people who put on a front for their audience, or just like actual fucked up people or losers, and then you gotta pretend like you don't know that for the sake of like the economy and shit, or just like not starting drama and being involved in beef and shit. And then you got to be in similar spaces as these niggas and act like you don't think that they're terrible people, which personally I'm not very good at, which is why you don't see me in certain circles, because if I don't fuck with people, it's very hard for me to not let them know that I don't fuck with them. Ooh, if I said what's on my mind right now. Ooh, if I said what's on my mind right now.
This is real goth music.
See, and this is the thing as well. It's like I got something that I really want to say, but I can't, because not only would it potentially start drama and it's somebody like, who is this nigga that I've never spoken to? Like, why is he talking shit about me? But then also because of what I would need to disclose, it then involves other people, and it's just, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like it becomes so much bigger. It's one thing. It's like, oh, I know something about somebody, or I seen somebody do something. Like if it was just me, I mean, when it is just me, like I just say it. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's certain niggas, it's just like, if it's just like me versus someone else kind of thing, it's whatever. Like who gives a fuck? But because it involves other people, it's not my place. Yeah, what's good, Stacy? You can speak about it without names. I can't. It's, if I could, I would.
Nothing
Yo, Green Hulk,
amazing
thank you for the 2
happens
gifts,
here.
homie. I greatly appreciate it.
Everything is ordinary.
I can't, because if I said it, even if I
Nothing
don't say
amazing
names, if I were to
happens
explain the
here.
situation, there's
Everything
at least
is
a few of you in
ordinary.
chat who would know enough to be able to figure it out. So dude is bored in the house when he could be bored outside the house.
Nothing amazing happens here.
Ain't nothing
Everything
good out
is
there, bro.
ordinary.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say, most streamers are terrible people. And a lot of the ones who aren't terrible people are just fucking losers. I know very few people in the content creator space that I don't think are losers, man. Shout out Squad for real for being one of the only like groups of genuine people. Cause like outside of this friend group, man, I know too much. I see too much. And I be finding out shit I don't even want to know just from being in the space. And it's just like, what the fuck be wrong with y'all, man? Like this shit make me not even want to like, I don't know, man. The shit I said earlier, I have to be aware that I'm a non-content creator, so I hope it doesn't come across like, oh dog, just do it. Nah, like, I mean, a lot of people don't have that perspective, but I don't blame people for not having it, because you wouldn't unless you were, right? But yeah, it's not really you. You've been keeping up going to the gym? Yeah, I didn't go today, but I've been going almost every single day. I went like the last 5 or 6 days in a row. Today I decided to take a rest day. Why is it so hard to be a genuine good person? The thing is about it though is that like nobody's perfect, and I don't expect anybody to be a perfect human being. I'm no saint. I've been mean to people, you know. I make jokes sometimes at other people's expense, you know what I'm saying, but I don't be stealing from niggas. I don't be doing shit behind people's backs. You ain't never gonna see DMs of me acting really weird towards some woman. Can't nobody ever say Lotus touched them inappropriately at this event. You know what I'm saying? No girl's ever gonna come out and say my experience with Lotus Asakura. You know what I'm saying? It's just, can't say the same for most other people in this space, unfortunately. The most you will ever be able to say about Lotus Asakura is that he cussed me out. He made fun of me in front of everybody. He made a really mean joke. To be honest, that's like the worst shit I think I've done. Made some mean jokes. That's about as far as it goes. I wish that was the worst I knew about some people. What's good, Tento? But take it easy, Wear Green Hulk. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I've seen someone who was cool let their ego take over after getting some decent traction. Yeah, you see that a lot as well, where people they catch their break or whatever, and they switch up on the old ones, or they start thinking that they're better than other people because they're making money now, or they have a certain amount of subscribers or viewers. I've seen that plenty of times. The story of how I got German suplexed by Lotus Asakura at DreamCon. A lot of people forget how fast that shit came is how fast it can go. Exactly.
Nothing amazing happens here.
But
Everything
Zadgar,
is
thank you for the
ordinary.
63 months. Wildcard weekend starts in 10 minutes, boys. We're all cheering for Bryce Young. Keep pounding. You're a Panthers fan? That's so random. Or you got a parlay on that nigga. That'd be less surprising. You're a Texans fan? That's still odd to me, but sure. Me and my homie planning on going to the first Spurs playoff game in like 8 years. Can't wait. I mean, yeah, the way it's looking, that they're pretty much a shoo-in for the playoffs, right? Barring anything. I mean, even knock on wood, even if like Wemby were to go down for an extended period, they've shown that like they can still hold their own even without him. I think they're a playoff team with or without Wemby, and even more so with him. So. Traffic about to piss me off. I don't keep it with the NFL too much, although the Bears were making me very, very proud and then very disappointed down the final stretch. So there's that. Also, I'm not a big NFL guy. Okay, so I've never really like been that into it. Like I watched football a little bit growing up and shit. I've always been way more into basketball. Okay, I watched a couple games this year. Was listening to some things. The way seeding works in the NFL is the dumbest fucking shit I have ever heard in my entire life. Let's go ahead and throw that out there. It is absolutely unbelievably moronic how they do seeding in the NFL. I cannot fathom why it works that way. It wasn't always like that, but I feel you. Okay, so like when did it change and why? Because that shit like broke my ankles. And when I looked into it, I was like, this makes absolutely zero fucking sense. How does it work? What's your gripes? Okay, so you guys know how like in the NBA, right? It's very straightforward. There's two conferences, the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. All the Eastern teams you split the country in half. All the teams on the East side are in the Eastern Conference. All the teams on the West side are in the Western Conference, with a few exceptions, like the Grizzlies are obviously in Memphis, which is on the East, but they're in the West because the Grizzlies used to be a team in Vancouver, but they still stayed in the Western Conference, right? So there are a couple outliers like that, but that's geographically and just with the way the conferences, with them being even, that's kind of how it works. That might change with the expansion, with two more teams getting added. They'd probably be two Western teams and they take the Grizzlies or something and move them over to the Eastern Conference. We'll see how that goes when that time comes. But regardless, two conferences, East and West. And the way the seeding works, the way the rankings works, is very simple. Whoever has the most wins is at the top. Whoever has the least amount of wins is at the bottom. Right? So if you have 50 wins and 32 losses, and there's a team that has 53 wins, the team with 53 wins is above you. Makes perfect sense, right? The more wins you have, the higher you are. In the NFL, they do it by divisions. Right? You have the AFC and the NFC, but then you have all these divisions within them. So you could be a team that has 8 wins and be higher than the team with 12 wins. That's fucking idiotic to me. So you could have a team that might have like 10 or 11 wins and not even make it in the playoffs because they lost this, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the dumbest shit. It's the dumbest shit ever to me.
Nothing amazing happens.
Yo, Yudi,
here.
thank you for the 69 months, so man. I really
Everything is
appreciate it.
ordinary.
For all sports, why even have divisions if the bracket is going to be split by conferences anyway? Don't ask me, man. Panthers got in this year with an 8-9 record. Yeah, losing record, playoff team. Like, what? It changed when the Texans came into the league and when they added more games in the regular season. In addition, there's a lot of teams that go to the playoffs with shitty records because they beat divisional opponents, which to me is stupid. Makes sense since the NBA plays every team. NFL doesn't play that many. I mean that is obviously something to consider. In the NFL, you play, what is it, 18 games in a season? It used to be 16. They increased it, right? Don't quote me. Is it like 17, 18 games? It's like, I get it, right? There's 30 teams, 32 teams in NFL. You only play the 16 games. So you're not going to play most of the teams you're never going to encounter, right? Whereas in the NBA, you're going to play against every single team at some point. There's 30 teams, you play 82 games. So like, I get it. It makes more sense for the NBA to do it, but there has to be a better way than how the NFL does it. Because that shit just feels, and like I wouldn't say I'm necessarily, I wouldn't even say I'm a football fan. But as a casual to some extent, right? As somebody who like is loosely keeping up with it, it's also just really confusing. And it just optically, it just looks dumb. What makes sense for the NBA to do the way they do, like seeding and rankings and shit. Like, we just have two conferences and whoever has the most wins is at the top, whoever has the least amount of wins is at the bottom. But that's not how it works in the NFL. Like in the NBA, and I think the NBA did used to have something like that, right? At one point, I want to say back in like, I can't remember how long ago it was, but the NBA was like that at one point, where you'd have a team that would be like 48 wins, but they'd be above a team that had like 55 wins, like in the early 2000s or something like that. Yeah, and shit was ass. Mustache here. I think the division thing it's, in my opinion, it was even dumber for the NBA to do it, because like, nigga, we have the two conferences, we have all these teams, like everybody plays against each other. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, there's no point. I guess they also partially do it that way because it helps create rivalries, and that also helps create, more passion in the fan bases, everything like that. Like, you have these division rivalries that actually mean something to people in the NFL, whereas in the NBA, they really don't mean shit to most people. Like, I don't give a fuck about none of my division rivals as a Lakers fan. You know what I'm saying? I really, as a Lakers fan, like, my biggest ops is the Nuggets, personally, just as the last several years, because the Nuggets was kicking our ass. But even then, like, I really don't care that much, because like Nikola Jokic is such a great player, and Jamal Murray is obviously such a great player, and like, the teams are so different now that it really don't even matter. That's another thing too, where like you see so much player movement. It's like rivalries are hard to kind of like, but like in the NFL, it's like it really don't matter, like player to player. Like, the rivalries always, like Bears and Packers always gonna hate each other. You know what I'm saying? Don't matter who's on the teams. Don't matter like who won, like who lost, who made it. It's always gonna be a rivalry. Like, what even are any real rivalries in the NBA? Right? Like Lakers Celtics. That shit ain't even no rivalry. Like, I love the Celtics. I love watching the Celtics play. Jason Tatum, one of my favorite players in the league. Jaylen Brown is hooping his ass off. I love watching Derek White. I think Joe Mazzulla should be in Coach of the Year conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like, their success over there in the East don't affect me at all, because we don't meet up in the fucking playoffs no more, in the finals. So it's just like, whatever. Yeah, rivalries in the NBA are like almost dead. It's like, from that standpoint, I somewhat get it why you do it the way that you do, because at least you always have these division rivalries in the NFL, and that'll always mean something and it kind of always be there. But I don't know. But maybe that's why NFL is bigger in America. Maybe that's a big reason why. Closest thing to a rivalry in the NBA is Spurs and OKC, and even that shit not real, because there's just been a few regular season games, and that's it. And that's just starting this year. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be built up over time. There's some player rivalries here or there, maybe. Like Devin Booker and Luka, I guess, kind of, sort of. Braun and Dylan Brooks, and that shit not no real rivalry, obviously, right? Chet and Wemby, yeah, okay, cool. But even then, it's just like Wemby is obviously clearly vastly superior to Chet. You know what I'm saying? So is it even really a rivalry? Or like Trae Young versus the Knicks, I guess, but he just got traded to the Wizards, so that shit's dead. It don't matter no more. I like college football more than NFL. I don't watch college football at all. One rivalry that recently died, I'd say, was the Heat and Celtics. And that shit wasn't no real rivalry either, because frankly speaking, the Celtics was just always whooping the Heat ass. And the same thing over with Celtics Sixers. Now, the Heat did get them that one year. What was that, 2023? 23, right? That's the Nuggets year. And 2023, the Heat beat the Celtics. Yeah, the 2 years they went to the finals. I will say, okay, all that matters at the end of the day is the final result, and the Heat won. That's all that matters. But the Heat were on the brink of the most historic fumble in NBA history, where they almost blew a 3-0 lead. Celtics came back down 3-0, tied the series up 3-3. Game 7, Jason Tatum twists his ankle. And I fully believe with all my heart, if that nigga did, he twists his ankle like literally a minute into game 7. And I fully believe, just as much as I believe the Pacers would have beat the Thunder, I think the Celtics was going to beat the Heat in that game 7, bro. I have to strongly disagree. And you can all you want. But in my heart, the same way I believe the Pacers was going to win that game 7 against the Thunder, I think the Celtics would have won that game 7 against the Heat. Tatum was playing like shit the entire series. I ain't gonna lie, Bam was locking his shit up a lot, but they were still getting the job done. Tatum was playing like shit, and they still came back 3 games straight. Niggas folded. They did. Like I said, all that matters at the end of the day is that they didn't get the job done, and the Heat did. I just believe that things would have gone differently if he didn't twist his ankle at the very start of the game. But I'm also a big Jason Tatum truther, and a lot of niggas is gigantic Jason Tatum haters, which just makes me kind of even more of a truther for him. Caleb Martin was better than $300 million man Jaylen Brown. Hey, as ugly as that run was for the Celtics, they almost made it back to back. And to be honest, like, they went from the finals, conference finals, and then back to the finals again. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. On the lowest of keys, Celtics might be my favorite to make it to the finals this year, coming out the East. Here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. If we take a look at the standings, okay? Right now, at this very moment, the Celtics are the literal 2 seed, okay? The funny part about that is no one, and I mean not even the most delusional Boston Celtics fan, thought that they would be a top 2 seed this season, okay? You ever talk ball with Yipes? Nah, I haven't really spoken with Yipes very much. I mean, I've had a couple of very casual exchanges with him, just in passing, like at events or in stream before, but like I've never actually like sat down and had a real conversation with Yipes. Yo, Konsu was good. No one had the Celtics pegged as a top 2 seed. Joe Mazzulla right now should be in Coach of the Year conversations, in my opinion. Okay, Jaylen Brown is hooping at an MVP level, and I see that he is number 3 on the ladder, and I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I honestly think there's an argument for him to be 1. but him being at least top 3, at least he's in the conversation. Cool. Okay. Derek White got off to a really bad start. He's been picking up his play a lot. He's been playing phenomenal for like the last 4 or 5 weeks or so. Peyton Pritchard's been kind of up and down, but he's playing overall better than he did at the start of the season. Okay. These niggas lost Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Al Horford. All key pieces of their championship run, right? And pieces that helped them get to those finals. Then not only did they lose those, they lost their superstar 1A player, $300 million player in Jason Tatum to an Achilles, and they are currently sitting at the fucking 2 seed. Okay. Not only are they the 2 seed right now, 4 games behind Detroit, which is a decent amount, still plenty of time to make that up. I believe that there's a reality where the Celtics could end up the 1 seed by the end of the season, because not only are they playing this well, Jason Tatum is on progress and on pace right now to make a historic comeback and be like the quickest recovering player ever from like an Achilles injury. And who knows what he's going to be like when he comes back, because honestly, that is a catastrophic injury. Like 10 years ago, that is a career-ending injury, right? Obviously, with today's medicine and doctors and everything like that, and with him being like one of, if not like the first player to like ever like immediately get the surgery. Like he ruptured his Achilles. I think he got like his surgery and like was on the operating table like that same night or like the very next day, which it usually doesn't happen that quickly. And I think like there's research showing that like that matters a lot and it'll help aid and speed up the process of recovery. I think that anyway, we don't know what Jason Tatum is going to look like when he comes back, but signs are pointing toward him making a return before the end of the season. Now, obviously, with him not having, you know, training camp and preseason and not being able to ramp up the regular season, who knows? He could be terrible when he comes back. He could be terrible. He could. There's a world where he even like makes the team worse. He's taking up shots. He's inefficient. He's not moving as well on defense. But remember, when Jason Tatum is healthy, he is a top 5 player in the league, arguably top 10, unquestionably. Some people don't want to give him top 5 credit. I give him top 5 credit. He's probably the best 2-way player in the league when it comes to offense and defense. I would have said Giannis. Those are the 2 in the conversation to me, in my opinion. Giannis, not the defender, not that he can't be, but he doesn't play defense as well as he was a few years ago, maybe because his offensive load is so much higher. Jason Tatum still defends at an elite level. Obviously, he's become a plus playmaker, incredible rebounder. We already know what he does scoring wise. I mean, he's had a season where he's averaged 30. He very easily averages 25 to 28 points, you know what I'm saying, with or without Jaylen Brown. So there's a world where the Celtics are a top 2 seed, maybe even number 1 seed, and then add in a top 5 player who's arguably the best 2-way player in the league. If he's even half of his usual self, how are they not contenders? To be honest, if we're looking at the standings right now, yo, Pluto's World, thank you for the 40 months. Who are the Celtics even afraid of? Like, who should the Celtics, even as currently constructed, who should the Celtics be afraid of? The Knicks, who are soft as hell and don't want to play physical, who, like, they're a good team, don't get me wrong. They might even should be considered the real favorite, but like, I could easily see Boston beating them in 7. I could see it going either way, but like, Boston shouldn't be afraid of the Knicks. The Raptors, okay. The Sixers, yeah, okay. Cleveland looks like a shell of them former selves. I don't give them like, no, not afraid of them even a little bit. So it's really just these top 3 teams. And like Detroit, cool, they look great right now in the regular season. I could easily see them, you know, falling apart in the second round or in the conference finals. I don't think the Celtics should be afraid of them. They're still a really young team as well. They've only got 1 real year of playoff experience under the belt in the Cade Cunningham era. I feel like it usually takes a little bit more than that. People kind of want to give them some extra credit right now because OKC just did it. But if you remember, OKC didn't go from being in the playoffs 1 year and then winning the finals. It didn't go like that. You know what I'm saying? They had a couple of years before they did that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, are we going to see Detroit go from a first round exit to the finals? I don't think that they're the favorite to make it out of the East. I honestly believe a lot more in the Celtics and the Knicks, and history shows me I should believe more in the Celtics. So even as they are currently constructed, and let alone they're so good right now, they might be buyers at the deadline. They get a center in there. Like if the Celtics could acquire like Zubac, who might be on the market, because Lord knows the Clippers need to do something. Clippers got to do something. I don't know what the fuck they doing. They can't tank because they got the fucking OKC. OKC got their pick. Regardless, like the Celtics get like a Zubac or a fucking Jared Allen by some miracle, because y'all know Brad Stevens is a fucking miracle worker and shit. I don't know, man. I really don't see a team out east that the Celtics should be afraid of. To me, it's really only these top 3 teams that are even in the conversation, and I think the Celtics can take any of them in 7 games. Y'all let me know if I'm crazy though. Y'all let me know if I said anything that sound crazy. They're a top 2 seed right now without Tatum. To me, they're low-key my favorite right now, let alone if they add Tatum back in. Low-key hoping the Pacers can make another run in the playoffs when Hallie comes back. Yeah, well, that won't happen until next year at the earliest, but we'll see. My only concern and my only fear is that I hope Tatum doesn't come back too soon and just immediately gets re-injured. That would fuck up everything. When is the Jaylen Brown collab stream? I would love that. They gonna call me a hater, but I'm not a Knicks believer. I think the Knicks are really good. I think like these 3 teams are the top 3 teams out east for a reason. I honestly didn't have Detroit pegged as a 1 seed for sure. I thought they could be top 5. I'm not like shocked by this, but I still don't have them as my favorite to come out of the East. Pluto's World, thank you for the 40 months. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, K do be hooping for sure. Yo, Tenno, what's good, man? I miss the basketball channel every time bro gets going. Yeah, maybe I should get back on that. If the Celtics make it as the 2 seed without Tatum, East should be scared. I agree. I feel like that's just the logical conclusion. Like if the Celtics are the 2 seed right now and they don't even have Tatum on the roster, what the fuck you think they're gonna do when Tatum come back? I feel like literally the Celtics are the boogeyman right now. They shouldn't be afraid of everybody. Literally everybody else should be afraid of them. They are the 2 seed without their star player. I mean, well, without like one of their top 2 guys. Like Jaylen Brown is a star in his own right. I think he's going to be, if he keeps up this pace, he's MVP conversation, all NBA first team, all-star, obviously. Like, you know what I'm saying? Him and Tatum have always been 1A, 1B. There's always been those conversations about who's better. I always lean toward Tatum, but I always thought Jaylen Brown was a really great player. Now, did I think he was capable of leading the team to the 2 seed? I ain't gonna lie to you. Absolutely not. I did think that the Celtics would probably be a playing team. Now, I will say, I believed more in the Celtics than a lot of niggas did, because I remember people saying that Celtics was going to be in the lottery without Jason Tatum. I remember them saying that they might be in the bottom of the conference. I thought they'd be a playing team. I said that they could maybe even go as high as 6. I still believe that the Celtics were going to be good enough to at the very least be in the play-in, at the very least. Just because I just think that they're that well coached, that well rounded, and just even without Tatum, like again, they also lost Drew and Al and Porzingis, but I still thought that they'd be a competent basketball team. I didn't think they'd be this good, but they're the fucking boogeyman. Everyone else out east should be afraid of them. It's teams right now that can't really fuck with them, and they're missing Tatum. Dark horse in the East is maybe the Sixers. See, like Tyrese Maxey is hooping his ass off, right? And Embiid has given us some flashes. I don't know, man. VJ is obviously still a rookie. Paul George is, I mean, he's solid. He's okay, but he's not really what they were hoping to get with the contract that he got. And I know that they were expecting it to not look good on the back end, but we're still kind of on the first half of that. And it's, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I see what you're saying with like dark horse, obviously, because like, you know, in a perfect world where you get a completely healthy run from Paul George and Embiid and Maxey continues to play at the level he's playing at, I could see it. But I'm sorry, like I know it'd be Tatum in particular, but like Celtics would be putting belt to the Sixers ass every time they play. So if it's a matter of getting through them, it's not happening. Jaylen Brown right now is what people thought Jaylen Brown was a few years ago. It's me, I'm niggas. Can I say something? Go on. Ain't no dark horse in the East. Anyone in the East is losing to the West right now. I think the Thunder are still the overwhelming favorite to win the finals. Obviously, things have looked very shaky for them. Like they lost to the fucking Hornets a few nights ago. They almost lost to the Grizzlies. Grizzlies were putting belt to ass and then they choked. Grizzlies were up by like 21 points and then the Thunder walked them down with no Shea and no Chet or Hartenstein. OKC is still obviously clearly head and shoulders the best team in the league. They should still very much be the favorite to come out of the West and win the finals, and they are my favorite to win. I do think they'll be the first team to back-to-back in some time. However, I think the team that can give them the most run for their money is the Celtics. Shout out to the emergence of Jordan Walsh. Like I said, Derek White is still doing Derek White things. Jaylen Brown looking like he might be the best two-way player in the league right now. I said that I believe it's Tatum when he's there and when he's healthy. Jaylen Brown defensively has been incredible the last couple of seasons. And obviously we see what we can do offensively. It's crazy that the two best two-way players in the league might be on the same team. I still got to give credit to Giannis. Giannis is still up there. He's arguably number one, his damn self. But I think the conversation between who the best two-way player, you got to have Shea and Wemby in the conversation as well, I guess. Ant is also up there, but I'm taking some of these other guys over Ant for sure. Yeah, no, I think it really is. I think it really is between those three. I just don't think the finals will be much of a competition, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope so too. The West is far outclassed the East as usual. Yeah, I mean, I think Denver is a serious threat to OKC and is a genuine contender. I think the Timberwolves have a shot. I mean, back-to-back conference finals appearances. This could be the year where they get over the hump. Who knows? There are some things I still don't really like. I think if Minnesota can acquire a real point guard at the deadline, like let's just say in a world where Minnesota can get Ja Morant. Hey. Wouldn't that be funny, by the way, after the series that they had back in like 22? Y'all remember the Minnesota and Memphis series where Minnesota just kept doing like boneheaded things and just getting like blowing leads and just losing to the Wolves? Wouldn't that be funny? Remember when Ja was fucking dancing on the court and shit against them niggas? That was a fun ass series. I love that series. Anyway, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are a point guard away from being like a serious title contender. I think that they've got a lot of good things going for them, and I think Anthony Edwards is a full-blown superstar who is the best shooting guard in the league, in my opinion. But they need a real point guard, and I think Ja is one of the better passers and playmakers in the entire league. He's a great table setter, can be that floor general, and you know, they've got defense around him. You know, Ja obviously still isn't much of a shooter, but can get downhill with the best of them when healthy. But I don't know. Anyway, San Antonio, I don't think are title contenders. I think I think their ceiling is the conference finals. And even then, I think it's a stretch because this team is so young, so inexperienced. We haven't seen them. We haven't seen them to go from a non-playoff team to the finals. Like that's just incredibly unrealistic. And again, this is another team where people are like, oh well, OKC, they're the youngest team to ever win. Like, okay, that's an anomaly. That's an outlier. That's an exception to the rule, not the new norm. You know what I'm saying? And even then, again, they were in the playoffs the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? They didn't go from a non-playoff team to winning the finals overnight. Like they had to go through their lumps just like everyone else. You know what I'm saying? So while I do think San Antonio is a really good team and they clearly have the Thunder's number, well, I guess that's the thing as well, is that if they are the 1 and 2 seed, right? No, it's still, I still find it hard to believe because they match up really well with the Thunder, but they'd have to get to the Thunder because obviously they'd be on opposite sides of the bracket. And if they meet up in the conference finals, well, the Spurs have shown they've got the Thunder's number. How will the Thunder adjust in an actual 7-game series? I don't know. But when you lose 3-4 games to the same team, clearly that team got your card, right? So like, I guess there is a world where the Spurs do make it to the finals, but they just might not even make it that far because if they have to go up against a Denver team or a Minnesota team or a Houston team, they might lose to just one of them. You know what I'm saying? Low key, as a Lakers fan, they might fuck us up. I ain't gonna lie. I think the Lakers are frauds right now. There's so many things wrong with our team. Like, yeah, we've got to that's a whole other conversation we're never gonna get into right now. I think the Lakers are fucking frauds. I struggle to believe that the Spurs have a realistic shot of making it to the finals after not even being in the playoffs the year before. You know what I mean? So it would be cool to see it. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see it. And Victor Wembanyama is an anomaly unlike anything that we have ever seen. But again, even with that, no playoff experience. Health is always a major concern. So we'll have to wait and see. Still think San Antonio is taking OKC in a series. So this is the thing, like I said, right? I do believe that the Spurs could take OKC in a series. They've obviously shown enough in the regular season for us to say they've got something there. We know how good they are. We know how great Wemby is. I'm a huge believer in Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper. We already know what De'Aaron Fox be on, right? I think they're a great team. But again, the inexperience, the youth, health when it comes to Wemby, major things to consider. And I just don't believe in not being a playoff team and then going to the finals. They have to make it to OKC. They have to make it to OKC. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, is I think they're more likely to lose to a Timberwolves team or a Rockets team or a Denver team than they are to the Thunder, just because of what we've seen so far in the regular season. Like, I just think that's the logic you have to go with. But you have to make it there. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, this Lakers team, there's so many things wrong. There's so many things wrong. I ain't gonna lie, man. Last like 5, 6, 7 games, Luka hoops has looked disgusting. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the numbers are there, but oh boy, the PRA is there, but the on-court product has looked terrible. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I think the only true contenders out west right now are the Thunder and the Nuggets. And I think the only true contenders out east right now are the Celtics and the Knicks. Those are like my 4 favorite teams. Give respect to the Pistons. I'm not saying that they can't do it or that they won't do it. I got the Celtics over them, and I probably got the Knicks over them as well, even though the standings are different. And I think OKC and Denver, like, I don't have to talk about Denver. We already know what they've already won before. They've got Jokic. I think that this roster is actually like really fucking good. You know what I'm saying? They've got everything. Yeah, I have so many issues with Luka right now. Like, I don't ever want to be ungrateful for having Luka fucking Doncic on my team, but like, he is one of the absolute worst defenders in the entire league right now. He's completely and entirely unathletic. The constant foul baiting. He actually looks in worse shape now than he did at the start of the season, which is crazy. He's slow. He's sluggish. The shot selection has been awful. His 3-point percentage, this has to be like nearly a career low for him. Like, I don't know the numbers, but he's been shooting terribly, I feel like. And he's taking like 11, 12 threes a game. He's got to be shooting like 30%. Where's Luka at? Like, yeah, the counting stats look good, right? Oh, 33 points a game, 8 boards, 9 assists. Like, that looks great. Then you look at it, right? 10 threes a game on 32% shooting. Disgusting. Getting to the line 12 times a game, which is great. Shooting 78%, it's not terrible, it's not great. Turning the ball over like crazy. Highest turnover rate of his entire career at 4.5 turnovers a game. It's not good, man. It's not good. Efficiency, shooting 45% from the floor, again, like, not terrible, not great, but it's just terrible defender, fouling a lot, turning the ball over like crazy, shooting horribly. And not only is he taking a lot of shots, he's taking a lot of bad shots, and they're not falling. And as I'm looking at it, this would be technically he shot a worse percentage this year, but because he's taking 2 extra shots, you know what I'm saying? It's just, oh man. Yeah, nah, it's been terrible. He started off the season really, really well, but I feel like he's been getting worse and worse as the season goes on. And then last night we played Milwaukee, right? Oh, let me see. Last night we played Milwaukee, and this shit pissed me off. Okay. We finally have a night where his 3 ball is falling. The nigga only takes 6. You've been taking 10, 12 threes a fucking game, shooting 32%. And the night your shot is falling, that's when you want to start driving and shooting layups and floaters and shit. And then not even finishing well, which is funny because he was finishing at the rim very, very well to start the season. I don't know what the fuck happened. But the night where the 3 ball actually falling, that's when you want to take 6 of them hoes and not the 10 or 12 a night you've been taking. And then he fouled out of the game as well, which the play where he fouled out on, I don't know if I agree that was actually a foul. I low-key think he kind of got screwed over, but in that situation, it's clutch time. You know you've got 5 fouls, which the other fouls leading up to that, if you hadn't fouled in the first place, you wouldn't be in that situation. But Lakers didn't have a challenge. And like it is what it is. But it's just like he put himself in a bad situation. But yeah, like terrible shooting splits. Just how many 3 turnovers last night is not insane. But Braun was the best player on the floor last night for the Lakers. Not obviously Giannis is Giannis, but shit, it ain't like Giannis was crazy. I mean, you know, he got the game-winning stops like back-to-back times. Like he had the steal and the block on Braun, but it ain't like he dropped 30, 40 points. He didn't even have double-digit rebounds. This was a pretty quiet Giannis game, all things considered. Fucking Kevin Porter Jr. was damn near playing better than I didn't even damn near. I'd say Kevin Porter Jr. played better than Luka did last night. It was not pretty, man. I have not enjoyed watching Luka play basketball for the last 2 weeks or so. It has not been good. I get it. Austin Reeves is out. Rui Hachimura is out. And we're just a terrible team defensively because, like, Luka, we already know he's a terrible defender. Marcus Smart is a solid defender, brings a lot of energy, gives 110% effort, and I respect that. But he's obviously like a negative offensive player. So he's not really filling the role of Austin Reeves very well. DeAndre Ayton is very, very hit or miss. He had a terrible game last night, in my opinion. He hardly played. He's so unengaged when he's not getting the ball. Jake LaRavia is like, he's just okay. You know what I'm saying? Jake LaRavia, I honestly have like no issues with. I think for who he is, for what he is, and the contract that he's on, he is perfectly sufficient. I have no real issues with him, to be completely honest. I think he's currently overtaxed. But as a role player on like not a huge contract, Jay gets a pass from me, but he's not that great of a defender. Might even be a bad defender, but like I'm not expecting too much from him. LeBron is 78 years old. Okay, so our whole starting lineup is like 4 bad defenders and then 1 nigga who's a good defender, but like is not good on offense. You have a player like Jared Vanderbilt who is a complete and total like 0 on offense, even though he's a great defender. Gabe Vincent, ooh, don't get me started. Jackson Hayes is also like our whole team just sucks at defense. Don't connect. Jackson Hayes. It's like it's offensive players, and then when those shots aren't falling, it's very, very ugly. And we're missing Austin Reeves, who is our second best offensive player right now, and then Rui Hachimura, who is like a bit of a black hole, but that's one of probably our best shooter. Like, what is Rui shooting on the season? Can I say Rui got to be shooting 40+%? The volume isn't crazy. It might be on like five attempts, but we'll take that any day of the week, right? Rui Hachimura currently averaging like 13 points per game, 44.5% from 3, but on only 4 attempts. But I mean, he's only going to get so many shots when you have fucking Luka, Austin, and LeBron on the team, right? So frankly, like he's doing his job. Now, I'd like to see more from him when it comes to rebounding and defense, but it is what it is, man. Nigga built like LeBron, but he's being a corner, which is like kind of like his job, but you know. Yeah, the most athletic player on the team is 103 years old, so no, Luka did jump at him, but I think Luka did a really good job, especially on the replay, of like pulling back, getting out of the way. I don't think he actually made contact with him either, and the way his feet were, I don't necessarily think that constituted like intruding the player's landing space either. That's my opinion, but it's whatever. But yeah, Luka has been very hard to watch lately. I have not been a fan of what I've been seeing. The Warriors have the opposite problem. We have defenders, but outside of Steph, our offense is super stale. The Warriors have a lot of issues going on right now. No size, terrible offense, Draymond and his antics, and just overall just being a terrible player. Brandon Podziemski should be in China. Jonathan Kuminga is getting DNPs, and yet they won't trade him away for some weird fucking reason. I don't know what the fuck the Warriors got going on over there. Y'all know who the Warriors need? Michael Porter Jr. Whatever it would take to get him out of Brooklyn and onto the Warriors, I think would be really nice. I bet the Nets would take Jonathan Kuminga. Obviously, it's going to take more than that, but I bet they would take him. Please send pods to China. Yeah, Brandon Podziemski is not an NBA player, man. Niggas called me crazy 3 years ago when I said Warriors keeping Draymond Green would hurt them in the long run. Now look at them, I actually cannot feel bad. I can't blame them though. It's like when you win the championship in 2022, it's really hard to be proactive and be like, okay, we just won. Goodbye, Draymond. You know what I mean? Like, but honestly, to me, once you got rid of Clay, well, fuck it. Like, this, what's the point now? You know what I'm saying? Bye, Draymond. Like, that nigga would have been out the door right behind Clay if it was me. Dallas, another team that really needs a point guard. So that's the thing. I was talking about that at some point. Been asked a couple of times, where do I think Ja's gonna go? Where do I want to see him go? Yeah, let me know if I'm crazy. Okay. What if we were to see like a Darius Garland, John Morant swap? Not my favorite idea, but like imagine. But realistically, or maybe not realistically, but places I wouldn't mind seeing him go. Miami could use him. I don't think John Morant fits like Heat culture, but maybe that sort of discipline and that sort of environment is exactly what he needs, right? John Morant obviously has had his fair share of like off the court issues, and the on the court product hasn't been great. I do think John would be a better player with a change of scenery, and maybe that sort of like more militant type of environment is what he needs. Obviously, him being able to play alongside like Bam and Khalil Ware, I think would be great. Would they have to give up Tyler Hero in that trade? Probably. You'd still have Norman Powell. Trying to think. I could see Milwaukee trying to make a move for Ja. I don't think that they should, but I could see them trying it just out of desperation to keep Giannis. You know, another team I think would try to get involved with the John Morant sweepstakes. I don't want to see him go here. But unfortunately, I think a realistic place for him to land, and I know this team would be desperate enough to do it and do whatever it takes to, because they just have to do something because they have just nothing going for them. Sacramento. I guarantee Sacramento is on that phone talking to the Grizzlies front office. I guarantee it. I guarantee they're making the call. Maybe New Orleans as well. And the Clippers. Clippers need some youth. The thing is, though, the Grizzlies, they're going to want like youth and or picks in exchange. So it's like the Clippers ain't going to have shit that they want. Dallas, I'd be interested in, but like, what does Dallas have that the Grizzlies would want? I don't know. I'm gonna trade DeMar or Zach for him. Ideally, for their sake, they would trade DeMar, but the Grizzlies aren't gonna want DeMar. The Heat run the same offense that Ja just like last year. I know, because the same coach that left the staff is the one who went to Miami and implemented that. But you know, it's like maybe that's the environment he needs though. Maybe Spo's the type of coach that he needs as well. Bolters does such a great job of getting the most out of his players that, you know, maybe he could like change the narrative around John Morant's name. It's gonna sound funny. Don't you say it. Don't you say it. It's not that. Okay, go on. It's about Ja. Yeah, no, that's if you go on. I just think that nigga needs to stop acting a fool and buy into that offense. I don't blame him though, because it doesn't play into his strong suit. And to be honest, he's just such a terrible shooter that like, what else is he meant to do? I think it's a combination of he needs to buy in, but then also like whatever team he's on, he's to understand like, hey, like I'm John Morant, not Steph Curry. So like, he needs to be surrounded by play finishers and someone who sets good screens. Fortunately, Ja's mental as I am Steph Curry. I don't think it necessarily is, but he has been taking too many threes for my liking and not making them at all. But also part of it is that like, I feel him because I feel like the way he's been officiated has not been the best. And it's like, why am I sacrificing my body and not getting these calls? It's just been a terrible product altogether. And honestly, he's taken more threes in other years of his career. This is actually like the lowest amount of threes he's taken since his sophomore season. Is it sometimes you see games where it's like, oh, he took like 6 threes this game and he missed all 6, so it just looks really bad. But he's only taken 4.4 threes a game, which is the lowest he's taken since 2020, since 2021. I was thinking if it's left the league really fast, something doesn't change. I mean, there's always going to be a team that's going to want to give him a chance, I think, for the next several years. But yeah, it's I don't want to believe that his best years are already behind him because he's only 26 years old. You know what I mean? But wouldn't be the first time we've seen something like that. I still want to believe that he can be great, not just good, but great. Maybe a change of scenery is what he needs. Hey man, let me say something. Beauty, do you remember? And this isn't quite the same. This isn't quite the same. But Beauty, do you remember when Vince Carter was still in Toronto and he was averaging like 16 points per game on like 32% shooting from 3, like 40% from the floor? Like he was in Toronto and he got traded to New Jersey and then averaged 28 on 43% shooting from 3 and 46% from the field. Like, the nigga just immediately like turned it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he just need, you know what I mean? Who knows, man? I don't know about building around JJJ. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a great player, but he's not a franchise
Everything
player.
is ordinary.
Yeah, Wondering Lotus, thank you for the 49 months, man. I really appreciate it. Man. That was one of the more exciting players to me since AI. I agree. John Morant, I've said for the last few years, he's my favorite player in the league. Like, I needed a new young player to attach myself to and watch and be excited about and follow. And John Morant was the player I gravitated to, and I would still call him my favorite player. I'm still rooting for the dude. I don't think it's over for him. He still got my full support and belief, but something gotta change. Something gotta change. There are a lot of players in this league that I really like though. I'm a huge LaMelo truther as well. I kind of have a thing for some of these players that like niggas don't take as serious as good of a player as I think they are. LaMelo, Ja, Tatum, you know what I'm saying? Like those are some of my favorite players in the league, but I also like KD, Zach LaVine, Desmond Bain I like a lot, even though he's having a terrible year. Austin Reeves, obviously got to be one of my favorite players. You know, it's Kyrie. But shit, niggas was like, bro. Okay, here's my thing with Kyrie. By the way, why did niggas start pretending like Kyrie wasn't good at basketball, like during his controversial like off the court stuff? It's like, okay, you could think whatever you want about him as a person, and you may or may not be right. He done said and did some things that I don't agree with either. But the on the court product has always been elite. Kyrie ain't never been bad at hoops ever a day in his life. Like that shit was always weird to me. And then like when he got traded to Dallas and niggas acted like it wasn't gonna work, then the niggas went to the motherfucking finals. And then they traded Luka. I can't. But like Kyrie Irving has been elite his entire career. I don't know why niggas ever pretended like he wasn't still going to be elite. Now at this stage, after that major injury and at this age, who knows what he looks like when he comes back, but people do this all the time when they don't see a player for a while. It's so crazy. And I still believe, like, I feel like at worst, Kyrie Irving comes back and it's still like a 15, 20 point per game scorer. But I don't know, the way niggas be moving these days, like he still might come back and average 25. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think in the worst case scenario, he comes back and averages like 15 to 20. In the worst case scenario, which obviously he wouldn't be like himself anymore. That is like worst case scenario that I could see. He might come back and average 25. I don't know if I want to see that. I mean, I don't either. But you gotta understand, I don't think that's what's gonna happen. That's not what I expect. I'm saying like that is the worst I could see happening. Kyrie 15 points per game, so wrong. It does. It does. But Kyrie's an elite shooter, so like even if like the finishing like takes a step back, he's just not quite as shifty. But even then, like again, the injuries these days, and again, he's older, right? This isn't like Hallie or Tatum who are still like in their prime. Like Kyrie's 33 going on 34. Like he'll be 34 when he finally comes back. Medicine and surgeries and everything has advanced so much that like he might come back and just be the exact same he was when he went down. You know what I'm saying? Like again, an ACL used to be like a career-ending injury for motherfuckers like 20 years ago. It's not 20 years ago no more. So Kevin Durant is really an anomaly. Yeah, I don't expect him to have like a KD bounce back, but even then you see like KD and Paul George, like obviously Paul George isn't what he is now. For Paul George to have the career that he had after the injury he had is fucking mind blowing. For KD to have the injury that he had and come back as good as he did and still be this good at the age of fucking 37 makes zero sense. And to be honest, I think some people are taking it for granted. I don't like KD obviously gets his praises, but there are some people who are just like so blinded by like I don't just blind hatred for the nigga because they think he's cringy or corny because he be on Twitter, or just because they'll just never forgive him for the Golden State shit. Like again, I hate when a nigga can't separate them disliking somebody from them being good at something. You can think Kevin Durant is a snake, slimy, soft ass, pussy ass, bitch ass nigga all you want. The nigga not bad at basketball. And for him to be averaging 26 a game at the age of 37 years after an Achilles injury, nigga, what the fuck are we talking? We ain't never seen no shit like this before and may not ever see it again. The nigga is 37 years old, averaging 26 points per game in year 18 on 50, 40, damn near 90. Nigga, what? Is this not some of the most insane shit we've ever seen in the history of basketball? I don't know, man. I don't see how you could not just be like in awe of that. Every night I watch KD hoop, I'm just like, this nigga different, bro. Like, and he loves the sport so much. Like he truly, like KD, you can tell when that nigga hoop and just from the way he move and talk and play, like he truly looks at basketball like an art form. That nigga has so much respect for the craft. Like that shit is pure artistry, man. You know the thing I hate? I'm all for like pushing agendas and narratives, or like you have a joke that you always run with, right? Like I can get behind that. Like what's an example I can think of? Like let's say like Omega and Kawhi, right? Y'all know if y'all, most of you know who Omega is, but for those of you who don't know, my homie Omega, right? There's like a running joke. He always talks about like Kawhi Leonard ain't shit. Kawhi Leonard suck. Terrible at basketball. Like he be calling Kawhi Leonard like a terrible player and shit like that. But it's a joke. Like it's the agenda he be pushing, but like he don't mean it. He just be bullshitting, right? Like he don't really fuck with Kawhi like that. But like if you can get him to stop memeing for a second and have a serious conversation, he'll be like, okay, yeah, obviously Kawhi Leonard is an all-time great basketball player. He's still elite. You know what I'm saying? Like he can stop the jokes or the fake agenda for a moment and be like, yeah, obviously Kawhi Leonard is very good. There are niggas who can't do that. It's just always, they're just always in troll mode, or they're so delusional that they just always stick to that one narrative. It's like that shit is so like annoying and exhausting to me. The niggas who like can't be serious for one moment and admit that obviously, clearly, objectively, this person is good at this thing, or this thing is like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't saying you gotta like Kevin Durant, but to pretend like the nigga is not an all-timer because, oh well, he went to Golden State, he could never be top 15 all time. How could you go to the motherfucker? Can the nigga hoop or not? We may not ever see anything like Kevin Durant ever again. And you know the fucked up part? Very similar things to be said about Steph, just in terms of like longevity and just like what we're seeing at this age, right? Because if you look at Steph, Steph is also like, especially with being a small guard, right? Steph is like 6'2" on a good day, averaging 28.7 points per game, age 37, 16 years in the league. And again, the efficiency, I'm like, we already know, bro, 12 threes a game on basically 40%, 47 from the floor, like 93% from the line. Like, bro's 37. I think what Steph and Katie are doing is like mind blowing, jaw dropping, like unbelievable. This type we've never. There's only one player in the history of basketball we have ever seen with this type of longevity, and it's LeBron. But because it's LeBron, and we've just seen it, and LeBron is still doing what he's doing at age 41. I think LeBron kind of overshadows Steph and KD as if like this isn't some of the craziest shit we've ever seen. Like, I don't think this is getting talked about enough. This, bro, like this shit don't make no sense. You can't come back from a ruptured Achilles and perform at a top 10 level. Most niggas cannot know. In fact, I think only one player in the history of ever has done it. And his name is Kevin Durant. Anyway, chat. I'm starting to get pretty hungry and feeling pretty tired. So short stream where we just yapped a lot, but I'm gonna call it there for now. Don't really have much else to do. I be wanting to stream more just cause like it's my job, but like I don't know what to do these days, man. Anyway, thank y'all for hanging, listening to me yap and shit. I'm gonna say y'all over to Omega. Appreciate y'all for hanging. Thank you for subs, give subs a bit to the follows. And I'm trying my best to get back to it, man, but streaming and uploading has been very difficult because I just don't have anything to do anymore, I feel like. But no. Appreciate y'all. Y'all be easy, man. Later.